What's up, everybody? This is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead. I hope you're all well. This video comes with a sense of urgency, and I hope you pay attention and you have an open mind because there's a lot of uncomfortable truths that I think we have to face as individuals, as a nation, the world. Okay, there's a lot going on right now. I just want to know, are you paying attention yet? Are you paying attention? And I don't mean, are you watching the news? Partisan news. Just like politics. Illusory dichotomies meant to divide. Okay? Folks, use your own critical thinking. Observe. See what's going on. Okay? There's so many things that we're facing right now that if you're not awake and you're not paying attention, I am concerned for you. Now, if your intellectual diet only comes from mass media, okay, I'm seriously concerned for you. Find independent sources. Again, use your own critical thinking, observe, but don't rely on mass media, which is largely based on fear, which controls. Preparedness, prepping as a lifestyle is not about fear. It's the opposite, right? It's the opposite. You prepare so you have a little peace of mind. You prepare so you don't have to worry about a lot of the things that other people worry about. But you got to be paying attention in order to know what to prepare for. This video, again, it's impromptu. It is going to be all over the place, but I'm just going to throw some things at you that I want you to think about, that I want you to consider, that hopefully will shape your preparedness perspective, okay? A lot of things going on, folks, okay? And I just want to say, before any of you jump out and say, everything's fine where I'm at, food is stocked, things are good, money's good, everyone's fine, that's great. That truly is great. But mathematically, if you approach things in a formulaic manner, you will know irrefutably that people are struggling. If you're middle class, good for you. Upper middle class, good for you. If you're wealthy, whatever. But for working middle class, lower middle class, for the poor, they're already struggling, okay? For people that were already trying to pay the bills and could barely do so, living week by week, feeding, and we can get into how much of that is their fault and if they should be working harder, context and individual context matters, but in general, the inflation is so out of control that even if you face it head on and work harder and you're more thrifty and you sacrifice and you do all the good things you should be doing, it's still tougher. Because no matter what, inflation's hurting all of us, right? Don't be that person who says, everything's fine where I'm at, business is booming, the shelves are stocked. That makes you look like you have no compassion. Just because you're not struggling in your personal context and or wherever you may be living, okay? That doesn't mean that so many people are not struggling. Folks, are you paying attention yet? I've worked in the restaurant industry or in the food industry in one way or another for 23 years now. And I won't date myself completely, but before I was 18, I was working in the food industry. I am well acquainted with food pricing. It shapes the businesses I work with and work for, and the businesses that I've been a part of, right? Food prices. Most people go shopping and they don't pay attention. This guy pays attention to the food prices. And I can tell you, It's out of control. Out of control inflation. The media that you're watching, I have so much that I really have to be careful what I say here, right? This is why I really need to get a Patreon going as soon as possible. If any of you folks think I should do a Patreon where you can get real, live, raw, unfiltered Colin, let me know, okay? Because there's a lot more I have to say that I think will be extremely helpful. Let me know if you would support something like that. It's like $1 a month to get involved with Patreon. So I think the content I could really come out with there would be next level. Inflation, the consumer price index. What they're telling you in the media is these smaller numbers, okay? Independent folks who have researched this say that it's much higher. People that think and go shopping every day or every week or every month will tell you it's much higher. You can't deny it. That's not including shrinkflation. Same box of cereal, same bag of flour, maybe the same price, more money. Maybe the same price, but now it's smaller. That's another form of inflation. Okay, that's another form of inflation, right? So folks, what do we do about this? I'm going to throw some things out that the world is facing right now, because it's so many things that are going on that we really need to consider in order to design our preparedness plan. So if you're designing a preparedness plan, it should be done like any project manager with priorities and a project timeline. Food is very important, right? I would suggest putting back some extra food. And if you watch the previous videos, that could be done a few dollars here, a few dollars there, a couple extra cans of something. You have to do that. We are fans of big picture preparedness. We're not just saying stockpile stuff and get all the freedom tools and all that. Yes. Okay, yeah, good. Are you paying off your debt? The last thing you want, if this artificially inflated stock market with wacky PE ratios, okay, crashes, the last thing you want if the market crashes, if real estate bubble booms, all these artificially inflated things, the last thing you want is to be sitting on a mountain of debt. Now, just because I advise things or I say things doesn't mean that we don't have a low debt. We don't have debt. We have a mortgage. We're working class people. We're still trying to crush it though. We're still trying to crush that debt because you don't want to be in a disaster scenario or any scenario. Look at my previous videos. You break your leg, you get sick, you lose your job, you're this, you're that. Normal, everyday stuff. You do not want to be sitting on a mountain of debt. Big picture preparedness. Pay off your debt. That debt's sitting there. And the usury. Oh, I wish I could say so much more. I wish I could say so much more. Some of you folks can read between the lines, right? The usury will cripple you. It will consume you. That debt will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and consume you. Pay that off. You get a peace of mind knowing that if the income stops, you're okay. Save some cash. You need to pay your bills if the income stops. You could be well stocked and prepared, but if you can't pay your mortgage, guess what? Got no place to live. Can't pay your car bills, your vehicles if you have them. The repo man shows up. Folks, everything I'm telling you has to be done concurrent to one another or simultaneous at the same time. I'm talking about paying off debt, saving a little cash to pay off bills, your fixed and non-fixed expenses monthly, okay? And do the typical preparedness stuff. Water, food, clothing. Everything's going up in price, folks. And it's not staying with wages. Okay, this is math now. This is irrefutable. Little silver, little gold, some bullion. I'm going to jump around here, but listen to me. It's all got to be done. Don't focus on just paying off the debt and not have any food. That's a bad idea. No water, bad idea. no cash, you paid off the debt, but then the bills keep coming and you have no cash in reserve to pay off your monthly bills, your weekly bills. All bad ideas. Preparedness has to be done across the board. At the same time, you have to do everything. Gardening. Get some livestock if you can. Build some friendships and some networks that are like-minded, that subscribe to the preparedness lifestyle. If you're not doing this already, folks, I don't wake up every day. Nobody that's a prepper wakes up and says, let's be negative. Let's live in fear. No, we have brain cells. We observe. We do the math. And we prepare. Nobody wants to be negative. I'm a family man. I'm a working class, middle class guy who wakes up and tries to navigate life like everyone else out there every day, okay? And I don't want to be negative, but I would be a fool not to tell you to prepare. And we appreciate our subscribers. We appreciate every one of you folks watching the videos, liking the videos, sincerely. Again, you want to support a good channel, regular people, good people that are out there. We think we're good people, but I don't know, whatever. But we think we're good people. Support this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever, because we're out here trying to help people. Sincerely, in our humble way, with our gardening, with our livestock, with our lifestyle videos, we're here to help people, folks. Baby formula shortage, okay? Vehicles. Have you shopped for a vehicle, a used vehicle? Okay? We're shopping, or trying to. Prices have gone up 20, 30, 40+%. Literally. Now, a lot of people don't pay attention to inflation because when something costs $1.50, now it's $1.75. They don't notice. It might not hit the pocket the same way. When you're buying big ticket items, it's crippling to working class people. And if you do the math, something's $1, goes up to $1.50, that's a big jump. $2 or $3, at the end of the day, look at your shopping cart as a whole. How much food are you getting for the same price? Energy, fuel, gas prices affects everybody. Gasoline, diesel, it affects all of us. And again, the video is just kind of a rant. It's kind of just to throw some things for you to think about out there. I don't know how long ago it was, but by an employee of mine, a young employee, nice, smart guy, but it's typical of the subculture of a lot of people that focus on media and entertainment and sports and what I like to call a lot of distractions, okay? I was called because I was telling this young man how to invest or not invest in the stock market, because he was like, I'll put my money in the stock market, I'll be wealthy. And I said, hang tight, buddy. Think of tangibles, think of actual assets, think of land, think of livestock, think of little cash reserve, think of silver and gold, think of the things that I encourage people to do and have. And he called me a doomer, as if I like doom and gloom, as if I want to. And that attitude seems to be exceedingly common for younger people. And when I say younger, I don't want to generalize or disparage an entire group of people, because I'm still relatively young, and I'm young compared to some people, and I have, a child, and I would never want to think that the youth is all the same, because they're not, right? But in general, generalities matter because that's how life works, right? And folks, a lot of people, and I could say this is baby boomers, this is, younger people in their 20s and younger than that, it doesn't matter. A lot of people across the age spectrum are thriving on only think. It's not a bad thing to hear some bad news. It's normal, it's natural, because bad news happens and exists. The idea that ignorance is bliss is absolutely true, and I can tell you a lot of people actively, daily choose ignorance. They'd rather watch some sports, or the Kardashians, or whatever, music, whatever. Folks, get your houses in order. Things are seriously getting serious. And if you're not doing the things, I don't know how much time there is left to learn the skills you need to learn, to be more self-reliant, be more self-sufficient, to get the things you need, to pay off that debt, to stockpile low cash. And I mean hard cash too. The banks, there's a run on the banks or something happens with ATMs. A lot of weird stuff going on in banking. I've been paying attention. A little more difficult to get that money out of the IRAs, the 401ks. Got to wait a little longer for checks to clear. Some holds, some weird stuff going on that I won't get into, but a lot of flags by the overlords as far as how much money you put in, how much money you take out, what you do with your money, the fruits of your labor. Okay? Folks, fertilizer shortages. Okay? Avian flu. Okay? And what they're doing to livestock, slaughtering them. Okay? In different parts of the world. Okay? The people demonize preppers, they demonize homesteaders, demonize anybody who wants to think critically, think independently, and be self-reliant. Now, why would anybody do that? Follow the logic train. It would have to, by the nature of it, because those are all good things, be an agenda. Wow, this is getting into almost conspiracy stuff. No, this is openly, unapologetically professed agendas that they tell you to our faces. World Economic Forums, politicians, they're telling you. Read your history books. I love history because I learn a lot from history. And I was actually on a YouTube channel the other day, and I felt the need to comment on something, and great channel. And in short, what I said was something like this. The shackles that our ancestors had to shake were much easier to shake. There's not the natural ebb and flow of power and centralization of power and power to the people, power to tyrannical governments. That doesn't go back and forth. There's not as much a political pendulum. All these natural flows no longer exist the same way, in my humble opinion, because of advanced technology. So much easier to control people, control their money, track their money, their spending, see what they're doing, their information, everything that's out there is tracked and followed. Folks, it was easier when things were more equalized to make corrections when needed as far as government or abusive authority. Now that we have accepted our free-range slave status, it's more difficult than ever. And I think that the best way to, I don't want to say fight back, I'd be careful what I say here. The best way to prepare would be growing your own food, producing your own food and water naturally, getting as many tangible assets and resources that matter. I mean, think Amish, think things that don't require power, okay, to operate. Okay, hand tools, stuff like that. Are you thinking of energy? Maybe that's gasoline, maybe that's kerosene, maybe that's propane, maybe whatever. Are your vehicles tuned up? Tires, backup tires, rims? This is how I get down, folks. Hang with me. I've been doing this a long time. As a student of history, as a prepper for pretty much an entire lifestyle, my entire life. And coming from a family that always taught me to ask questions And when I was told in school, don't read that, I sure read it. I absolutely read it. Because truth does not fear investigation. And you don't have to sell good ideas at gunpoint. Okay? There's so many things I could say. I'm looking around me. Seedling trays, plant labels, potting soil. That is more important to me than equitable ownership of stocks right now. Land. And most important, no matter what, you could be in New York City and you could be preparing, and this is going to offend people, but I don't really care. Okay, because this is me, right? You could be in New York City and be very well prepared. And you might be all right, depending upon the situation or the SHTF or disaster scenario or where that is in the spectrum of severity. You might be okay. Population density doesn't change. It ruins everything. Get out of the big cities. Get out of the high populated centers. By that alone, you will have a much, much better success rate. Okay? Doesn't matter what you do. If you take 50 chickens and you put them in a chicken coop made for 10 chickens, you overcrowd, you have disease, you have fighting, and you have scarcity of resources to share those resources. Get out of the cities. Get out of the cities. Clothing, shoes, boots, hiking apparel, bug out gear. Are your bug out bags packed out, ready? You check them? Folks, I don't recommend bugging out. I recommend bugging out as a last case, as a last resort, but the whole point of prepping is you have contingencies for contingencies. So plan to bug in and have plans to bug out. We've talked about this in previous videos. So I could go on and on, folks. I wanted to plant some little seeds of things you should be getting, things you should be doing, and things you should be considering. There's a lot of information hidden in this video. And I'm not trying to be cryptic, but because freedom of speech is limited even on this awesome platform that we all love, I have to be. That alone should scare you so much that we live in America, land of the free, but we're not that free. Technology is a differential. We are fighting a battle that our ancestors never could have imagined. Okay? We are. And there are so many things going on that we need to think about. But I hope you're thinking about them. Let's help each other as a community. And there's so many things I could say, but I'm just going to, and I know I touched base on a tiny percent of things and they were really not connected, but like, comment, subscribe. Hit the comment section below. Let me know what you're trying to acquire, what you're doing, how you're handling your finances in these troubled times, what your game plan is, and what you recommend for other people to do, because we could all learn from one another. I do this out of nothing but love and sincere care. Watch my previous video. I don't want hungry neighbors. You shouldn't either. Feed your neighbors. Teach them skills. Make them more self-reliant. That helps you. That helps the community. Helps the world. We can make a difference right now, right here. You could do it. And that starts with gardening. Getting new clothes. Getting a little extra water. Simple stuff, folks. But it all has to be done at the same time. Okay? Be safe. And let me know. Are you paying attention yet? Are you paying attention? I recommend turning off your TVs. I'll be straight up with you. In our home, we don't have a TV. We don't have one TV in our house. Oh, it's so weird. Oh, no. How do you function? What about Netflix? What about... The only thing I miss is history stuff. Good homesteading and survival channels and stuff like that. And being able to have a random mindless break. But I'd rather sit on YouTube and learn instead. Okay? Take care. Be well. And We always appreciate all of the support so much. Take care.